Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the HermitCraft Feed the Beast server. So I'm thinking I should probably get rid of this oil at some point. This is kind of always in the background on top of this glacier, over by my B area. I keep looking at it. I think it looks so disgusting, but I've never gotten around to actually doing anything about it. You can kind of see it in the distance, like over here or whatever. It's not too bad, but I think I'd rather have it gone at some point. We'll see. I don't know. I don't really need the extra oil, but I just don't like seeing the oil spilling all over the glacier like that. It's kind of weird looking. So last episode, we were working on upgrading this rain stopper thing, and yeah, I kind of couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, but I think I got a pretty good system now. So let me just show you what's here. It's very, very easy. I was making it more complicated than it needed to be. Okay, so here's the rain tank. Directly underneath it, I have a gate that says liquid in tank, redstone signal. Okay, and this is surrounded by blocks. So what happens is when it rains, the tank fills up with water. This emits a redstone signal, which puts power at this block. It puts power, the block underneath this one. And it would put power, put power right here if there's a block there. And it also powers this block right here. Okay, so this block has redstone signal. This wooden pipe right here says when a redstone signal is on, energy pulse, and this starts draining the water. So what I was doing before last episode is I had two of those wooden pipes attached to here, two of these gates that were trying to do something if there was liquid in tank. One of it was draining if there was liquid in the tank, and the other one was trying to emit a redstone signal if there was liquid in the tank. And that's where the problem was. They were just kind of fighting. So now I just have one that's detecting if there is liquid in the tank, and if it does, it emits a redstone signal, which will drain the tank from this one, and it'll also send a redstone signal over here to this piece of dirt that I'm standing on, which will power this export bus, which only does anything if it has a redstone signal. Okay, so yeah, kind of a long explanation there, but it does in fact work every time flawlessly now, so that is awesome. I'm missing a piece of dirt somewhere. Oh well, I'll put a piece of dirt there later just to cover that up. Actually, you know what? Let's do it right now. I forgot I had this remote thing on me. Awesome. Okay, I'm still not sure if the rainmaker has to be exposed to the air. If not, I could hide this, and this would be the only thing you'd see. I don't know. It's not too bad. It's out of the way. Okay, so another thing we were working on last episode was the wiring for that blast furnace, and that looked kind of ugly, and directly after I finished the episode, I fixed the wiring for it. So if we come down here, we can see that this looks a lot cleaner now. So we just have the fiber wire coming over here, powering the medium voltage transformers. Then we just have the one line for the ME cabling coming up right here. So let's head up top and I will show you that. I've also installed some spot loaders here. These are the same thing as chunk loaders, except they only load one chunk at a time. Let me hit this a few times. And where the green wire mesh is a chunk, and then over here is a new chunk. So this is in this corner of this chunk, and that's in the corner of that chunk, and then these two chunks here are being loaded by these guys. The problem was I was telling my machines to do something like smelt, I don't know, 100 chrome or something. Then I log off, I'd come back and it had only done like 5. Well, the problem is this area is just outside the chunk load range that I have for my B area. So this stuff would unload and then it would stop, the ME network from doing what it needed to do. Okay, so over here, this is the blast furnace. I did, in fact, get the pink casings to work. This is more heat, what is it called? Heat capacity than we would ever need. I think the most we would need is like 3,100, and we have 3,900. I think it was 3,100. But yeah, I went ahead and I made the entire thing pink. So this is where the ME cable comes up. It attaches to an ME import bus, and it attaches to the ME interface. And then I just have the cable wrapping around here, and so on. The pattern repeats, and that's a much better use of the cabling and all of that. Everything looks a lot cleaner. I might actually move this so it connects to, you know, back here or something, so you don't see the hole in the floor. But for right now, I think that looks pretty good, pretty clean. A lot less cable than I was using before. So yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so I have also installed another IC2 machine. This is an extractor. I have the 2 transformer upgrades on it, so I can use 512 power. And I have put in all of the overclocker upgrades we would need. I've also bumped up all of these. Before I just had 10. I put, you know, the full amount in all of these now, so they can pretty much compress and extract and everything they need to do at the maximum speed possible. So yeah, the rubber I moved over here. This was one of the main bottlenecks for auto crafting that I was having, was producing that rubber. It was just taking so long, one resin into one rubber at the speed of an electric furnace, or a powered furnace, I'm sorry. So yeah, it was taking like 5 or 7 or 10 seconds per each rubber. Very, very slow. Okay, so what I want to work on today is a little bit of Greg Tech stuff. Well, I don't know, is that Greg Tech? I want to make myself a Vajra. One of those cool tools. People keep asking me to make one for a long time. So it's one of these guys, and it's pretty complicated. It uses carbon plates, advanced alloys, Lapotron crystals, energy crystals, and then, I mean, this stuff isn't bad, but this Vajra core, which I believe is misspelled, is what is really expensive on this guy. So it needs a magnetron, a Tesla coil, HV transformer, which isn't too bad, and then these superconductors. These are expensive. Same with these iridium plates, but these superconductors, they use 6 of these superconductor covers, some glass fiber and gold, but the superconductor covers, 3 of those is 2 iridium plates, 4 advanced alloys, and some carbon plates. So yeah, these are quite expensive. So the iridium plates here, Tesla coil isn't too bad, just some refined iron and stuff. This magnetron though, this is one of the bottlenecks. Unfortunately, it hasn't been properly updated. It needs to use this weird copper. This is the kind of copper you find in dungeons and things like that. It just doesn't look like the same copper that everything else does. Like if you smelt some copper dust, it's more bright and shiny. This is kind of a dull color. So in order to get this copper, I would have to go around to dungeons and try and find it. Or there's this thing called a Forge Lexicon. And this is pretty cool. Causes a little bit of lightning when you place it down. And what this guy does will take any type of ore and convert it to a different type in the ore dictionary. So if I do a copper, take one of these guys, the shiny copper, and I put it in here, we can convert it to any other type of copper that is in the system. That kind of looks like brass, but it actually is a different type of copper from another mod. So we want this kind of copper. And very simple to do, it just converts it over to that type. And in fact, I need 3 more of those. So let's go ahead and convert those real quick. Whoops. Take this. Yep. Just go and convert those. Okay, so now we got 4 of those copper. So the Forge Lexicon. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to type. Forge Lexicon. This guy right here. Pretty inexpensive. Iron, gold, cyan, wool, and a book. So yeah, very, very cheap. And then the thing that it sits on, was this called? The mystical plinth? Plinth? I don't know how to say that. Yeah, pretty cheap as well. Just a cyan, 2 gold, and 3 obsidian. So yeah, very, very inexpensive device and very useful for those recipes that aren't quite converted yet. Okay, so let me go back to the Vajra, or however that's pronounced. I don't know if it's actually spelled or pronounced Vajra. It might be Varya. I don't know. Okay, so we look at this, and we need this magnetron. So it does a superconductor some copper, and refined iron. Let me grab a refined iron and a superconductor. Yep. And we will go ahead and make a pattern because I want this to be auto-crafted. I don't want to have to make one of these again if I end up dying and losing it or something like that. And refined iron. And one of those guys. Whoops. Yep, so let's go ahead and code that. Very good. All right, and then I need to make one of those. So let me stick that right in here. Okay. So, oh, you know what? Did I already make one of those? I think I just saw that in there, didn't I? Oh yeah, I did make one of these earlier. Okay, so we will reuse this. Whoops. Okay, so let's blank that out. Okay, so I want to make one of those magnetrons, so let's do that. Let's craft one of you guys up. Begin. Oh, it doesn't have that special copper. Let me throw that in there. Okay. So what is it waiting on right now? It says it's waiting on this. Let me go ahead and cancel. Let me see if I can make it again. Oh, there it is. Okay, very good. It made it. Alright, so now we have the magnetron. We need the iridium, HV, superconductor, Tesla coil. Let me go ahead and grab this stuff. Superconductor, Tesla coil. What else do we need? Was that it? Iridium plates. Those are expensive. Okay, I got 14 of those. So we need this guy there and that guy there and... Whoop, no, I think this was up one. Some iridium plates. This goes here. I think it was like that. Yep, there we go. And we will use this pattern now to make that guy, the Vajra core. Alright, so next. And this isn't quite in a Greg Tech thing. I think it's a different mod. But we'll just go ahead and stick it in here as well with all the other Greg Tech items that I have. Okay, so now I need to put this guy away, put all these away actually. And let's make one of these. Where is it? There it is. Begin. Nice. Okay, so now we have that. Now I just got to fill out the rest of this thing. So I need a Lapatron crystal. Let's make one of those. And an energy crystal. Let's make one of these. Okay. What else did we need? We needed carbon plates, refined iron, and advanced alloy. So I have some of these. I've pre-made a bunch of these carbon plates because I knew I was going to need them. And then we can do some refined iron. Whoops, just one. Okay. So I think it was the refined iron, carbon plates. I think this was on the bottom. This one was on the top. This goes in the middle. And what else? Refined iron here? No. What was the order of this stuff? The advanced alloy on the bottom. There we go. Oh, and I don't have a pattern. Derp. Okay, and here we go. Let's encode that. Bam. Vajra. Nice. All right. So let's put all of this stuff away. And we will stick this right here. So now I should be able to auto-craft a Vajra as long as I have that special type of copper in here. But like I said, I probably won't be making more than one unless I die in lava or something like that. But I never want to have to go through these steps again to make one. So let's say begin. Nice. There it is. Alright, so now I just need to take this guy and give it some power. And let's do that. Awesome. Alright, so that should replace my advanced diamond drill. I do know you can put silk touch on this thing, and I'm pretty sure this is a one-click break on pretty much anything, so I gotta be extremely careful when I use it. Okay, so let's go check this out. I have never used one of these. D-Mac has tried to get me to play with his before. That sounds so bad. Use his Vajra before, and I have pretty much refused just because I wanted to make one for myself and use it. Unfortunately, I think that rainforest is causing... Nope, I guess not. That was the real rain this time. I was thinking it was the rainforest causing that fake rain again, so click. Click. Okay, so let's find something that's a little bit stronger than dirt and torches. Where'd that torch go? Like right there? Okay. What else do we have? There's ice. Yeah, none of this stuff is super strong. Here's some stone over here. Let's try some of this stone. While flying even is pretty good. Now if I right click, does that do anything? Oh, that still does it. Okay. So yeah, this is pretty cool. How about obsidian? Oh, I can't get to my thing just yet. Let's try it on obsidian. Okay, actually, let's just go ahead and grab a bunch of obsidian. Let's see how this thing works. Come on, place it. So normally this would take a few seconds per if you had efficiency 5, but look at that. That is awesome. Oh man. Yeah, this is going to be really great. Now, one of the problems that I had with my advanced diamond drill is when I was flying, even though it has efficiency 5 on it, it'd be really slow to break some things, like wrath lamps, for instance. Let's actually pull out one of those. I still got all these from when I took them down from around here. But if I put the wrath lamp on the ground and I use my drill, let's fly up. Okay, so this thing has efficiency 5 on it. Now, if I use this to break while I'm flying, it just takes so long. Even if I'm on the ground and I use it on there, it still takes a little bit of time. Alright, so if I put this down and I switch it over for the Vajra, pink! That is so awesome. And I believe it does the same thing even if I'm flying. There is no extra delay. Oh man, this is going to be great. Very, very cool. Okay, so, whoops, I didn't want to put the water away. Let's take this back out and put some of this stuff away. Okay, so I suppose I can put my advanced diamond drill away. I don't really need that anymore. So another thing that I want to work on today is, if you guys have been paying attention, you might have seen in here that I have a few different items that I've never made before, and I still actually haven't made them. I've just made the patterns. Basically what I have in my ender pouch here is I have an advanced electric jetpack and some long fall boots. Again, this is in case I ever die or I need my, what is this called? The gravity chest plate runs out, or, you know, whatever. I need to get out of a place. I have that as a backup. But what I want to do is look at the Powersuit armor. And this stuff is pretty cool. It's very overpowered and extremely cheap for some reason. But if we go to the mods here and we go to this Powersuit thing, it should show us, well, it should be showing us only that mod, but it shows us a bunch of these other things for some reason. But the first thing we need to make is this Power Armor Tinker Table. Now there's two recipes here. One of them is very cheap, and the other one is like Greg Techie. So from what I understand, these cheap recipes aren't supposed to be in the game. These are supposed to be turned off, and it was supposed to be just the harder Greg Tech recipes. I know most people have made it with the cheaper recipes, but I'm going to use this recipe here. So if we come over here and look at my patterns on page 9, I should have a bunch of these patterns already made. Now, I haven't even made these before. I just made the patterns before I started recording, just so we could get this done a little bit faster. Okay, so if I do a tinker, there we go. Let's make one of these guys. Begin. Okay, what is it waiting on? It's waiting on something. I should have everything for this already made. Pulverize. Oh, it's making electrum. Okay, yeah, it's making electrum for advanced circuits. That's what we're doing. Okay, not a big deal. So this should be done any second now. Awesome. I really should pre-make a bunch of that, the electrum. Let's stick this down next to the Forged Lexicon. So this thing's kind of cool. It's got, you know, graphic things that appear outside of the block. Pretty cool detailed item. Let's right click on it. No modular Powersuit items found in inventory. Make some. We recommend experimenting with steel plates and basic circuits. Okay. So, next thing to do would be to make the power suit. So I have a bunch of these pieces all ready to go. So let's try making the power armor head. And just so you guys can see, this is the recipe I'm using down here. It's using machine parts, computer monitor, aluminum, and this data storage circuit. I'm using the harder recipes, like I said. So let's go ahead and build one of these. Okay, so that's doing its thing. So the next piece would be this powered armor torso. So this is using the aluminum as well, another machine part, and the data storage circuit. In fact, all of these recipes for the different body armors are basically the same thing, just laid out in a different order. The feet, 2 of those, 2 machine parts, data storage, and then the power tool itself, machine parts, and this, just, yeah, all different configurations of this. So let me go ahead and craft those up. So it's still waiting on something for that head, but I'm going to tell it to make the torso, or the legs, the torso, the power glove, and the feet. Go ahead and craft all that stuff up. So it is waiting on something. I'm not quite sure what we're waiting on. Let me look. It says it's trying to craft those, but it's not saying what it's waiting on actually. So, okay, give me a minute. I'm going to figure out what's wrong with this, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, well, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with the auto crafting. I tried it a few times, and I tried resetting it and trying it again. It looks like on the crafting monitor, it is making this stuff, but it doesn't say anything is missing, so it just never builds it. So I don't know what the deal is. So I'm doing this all manually, even though I made those those patterns. Just doesn't work, so that's too bad. Now, I've heard things like that happen if your drive is full, like there's no more room on it. Like if you're trying to craft something, it's best to have a drive that has all the different parts that you're trying to craft, pre-formatted for that. But I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever's happening, like over here, I think it's probably still going to say it's trying to craft, this helmet. Just doesn't say it's trying to craft anything. It just says it's trying to craft this, and then it just doesn't do it. So pretty weird. Okay, so let's click on this guy. So now all of the different armors and things are showing up. So if we look at the head, okay, so we got, we can do night vision, flight control, aura meter. So how do you do this? So I have to install a goggles revealing and a hologram emitter to do that. Flight control. Okay, what does this say? An integrated control circuit to help you fly better. Press Z to go down. Night vision. Press shift for more information. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, there's different things here. Elite battery. Press shift for more information. Okay, so I've already made the pattern for this guy that's HV capacitor, but I don't even know how this stuff works. So let's do HV capacitor. Yeah, this was another thing I made before I started recording. Now, are you going to make this thing? Oh, you are. Okay, so here we go. So if I go to the Tinker table and I click on this, and how do I install any of this stuff? Elite battery. Oh, click install. Okay, so battery size. I think this is something I probably want all the way up, right? Okay, let's do that. Let me actually put this armor on. Let's see what this is doing. Oh, and then this is like my tool or whatever. Okay, so in the upper left-hand corner, it says I have, power. So if we look at this, I think there's ways that I can diamond drill upgrade. 3 diamonds and a solenoid. Wow, this stuff is crazy. Aqua affinity, blink drive. Okay, well, what do the feet have? We have armor, iron plating, diamond plating, energy shield, more batteries. Yeah, this is going... Okay, so each piece of this, I can put an HV capacitor on. That's interesting. Movement, shock absorber, jet boots. Oh, I think this is what I want. So I need 2 iron thrusters. Okay, so this is another thing that I was going to make. Let's look at the recipe on that thing real quick. Iron thruster. Ooh. Iron thruster? No. ION thruster. There we go. Okay. So I was going to do this all with the GregTech recipes, the harder recipes, but some of the stuff is just getting kind of ridiculous. This force field emitter, like with the cheap recipe, is just some ender pearls and these solenoids with just some wiring and iron. So, I mean, this is pretty cheap for this force field emitter, right? So 2 of those, 2 more of those solenoids, some iron, and some glowstone. So yeah, that's pretty cheap. Now the GregTech recipe is 2 iridium plates, this iridium neutron reflector, which is another iridium plate with a whole bunch of these thick neutron reflectors, which is neutron reflectors and beryllium cell. And those are, you know, tin dust, coal dust, dense copper plates. Like, this is just getting pretty ridiculous to make all this stuff. HV capacitor, I do use the expensive recipe, not this one, but this one, the chrome ingots, Lapotron energy orb. I mean, this is stuff that I'm already producing, so it's not too bad, but if I wanted to, let's see, which one was it? This? Yeah, this beryllium cell. I mean, in order for me to make that, I'm going to have to do ender pearl dust and use the industrial electrolyzer and all sorts of crazy stuff, which I don't have set up over here. I know DMAC has it over at his base, so I could steal some of his stuff, but I don't really want to do that either. So I think most of these recipes, I'm probably going to use the cheaper one. If it ever does come into effect where the cheaper recipes are removed, I will, have to set up for the more expensive ones. But yeah, for these 3 things, and actually all of these Powersuit things, I've used the more expensive recipes just because I have those materials. 6 chrome, 2 Lapotronic energy orbs, 5 titanium, an advanced circuit for this thing, and this uses 2 for 3 silver ingots and 3 copper to make the uninsulated wiring. So tell you what, guys, let me build a few more of these add-ons and we will check them out. Alright guys, so I've been playing around with the power armor for a little bit now, making some patterns for the different various, components to upgrade this thing. So the power armor head, I have installed flight control. Flight control. I have also installed a solar generator, which is a couple of control circuits and a solar panel. A lot of this stuff is pretty cheap. I know there's an auto feeder. I didn't put this in. I don't know if I wanted to, use up all my food and things like that. I would rather use my ambrosia when I need it. Let's see, there's ways to change the color of the armor. There's, this is to actually make the armor give you some protection. Right now, I don't think any of the armor gives me any protection because I haven't installed any of these diamond platings or iron platings. I'll probably do that some other time, but I really don't want to make this my main set of armor, at least at this point in time. Let's see. So we could do an active camouflage. That sounds pretty cool. I would assume that makes me invisible. Let's see. What else do we got? I tried the glider, and the glider works. It's kind of cool. You jump up, and then you can go forward at that same height, and you move slowly down. I added in the parachute, which I think is really cool. You can fly around and go down really slowly, and then the jetpack, which is extremely awesome and overpowered in my opinion, especially when the thrust is all the way up. We'll go check this out in a second. The legs, I added a kinetic generator, I believe. Yeah, we have the kinetic generator, so every time I walk around, it's increasing my speed, or not my speed, my battery, my charge that I have. I've added a sprint assist at maximum. I had a jump assist on there, but since I have that jetpack, it's kind of pointless. There is a swim boost, but I didn't install this. And then the uphill step assist, I did put this on. This is similar to Boots of the Traveler from Thaumcraft, where you can walk up 1 block tall things. Let's see, on the boots, I don't know if I added anything here. Oh yeah, I added the shock absorber. So this is like feather falling. And then the jet boots, which I don't know if this is even a point to have this since I put the jetpack on the armor, but I left it on there for now. All this other stuff I've kind of left alone. Like I said, I really should do some of this diamond plating or whatever so I can, take some damage. And the power tool I haven't even looked at yet. I don't really think I'm going to be using this much. I'll be checking this out off camera, but like you can make it into a shovel, a pickaxe, or an axe. But with the Vajra, that's kind of pointless, right? Melee assist, I assume you can use this to like a weapon. But again, the Vajra is supposed to one-shot most enemies anyway, so that's kind of a moot point. Plasma cannon is kind of cool. I've seen people use that before. You shoot out these little balls of power that you can kill things with or blow up the world, I believe. Again, like I said, I'll probably be using that off camera, just checking it out, see what I like. But so right now, my normal walking speed is stupidly fast. That's not sprinting, that's just walking side to side. Wow. Now if I sprint, it's actually not much faster than when I'm normally walking. So the step assist, I can just walk up those blocks. Flight control, like if you move backwards off a block, you start flying, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to have to get used to that if I use this more often. But yeah, that's pretty cool. You can walk up blocks and walk off them. One of the problems I was seeing before, like if you try and go up the stairs and walk backwards, you start flying. I was getting caught up on these stairs, and I don't know why it was, but it doesn't seem to be happening anymore, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, you can walk around really, really fast. I can walk up the side of the mountain. Oops. Yeah, just walk up the side of the mountain. Just climb all the way up without having to jump at all. And moving so fast, it's kind of hard to tell where you're going, hard to control. Again, that's probably something that would work out a little bit better if I get used to this. But yeah, just the fact that you can just billy goat everywhere is pretty awesome, I think. So as far as the flight goes, you can move up and down pretty fast with the jetpack, and then moving forward, like you can get going so fast. The world has trouble loading, and this is what a lot of people have been doing on the server. Doing this so fast, causing all these chunks to load, really causes the server to lag a lot. It puts a lot of stress on it. So yeah, I don't know. This suit is crazy. I really don't think I want to make this my main set of armor. I think this is just going to be a backup set, or, if I need to do something specific. But this is pretty cool, though, because you can use it similar to the gravity chest plate by, going up and down to a certain spot, moving around. Oh, yeah, Z. Z's the down button, but that also toggles the mini-map. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed feelings about this since I have the gravity armor, and this stuff is so relatively cheap compared to it, and it's like so much faster and it can do so much more stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to play around with it and see how I like it or whatever. But I think I'm more comfortable at this point in time with the gravity chest plate. It just feels more like creative. This feels more like, I don't really even know how to describe it. It's just kind of crazy. Alright guys, well, I think that's going to do it for today. I'm going to check out the rest of the different Powersuit modules and see what I like and dislike. We'll probably check it out. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like, get caught up on the stairs. It's weird. We'll check it out next episode if I find anything else that I want to show you guys. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.